Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio with my co-host, Barbara Cochran, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. As I mentioned earlier, Barbara is on jury duty today, I believe, or taking the day off and trying to stay out of the rain. We have with us Margie Vies from Oakmont Senior Living. Welcome aboard on this rainy day. Have you ever been on jury duty?
I have gone, but I've never been on a jury.
You've never been chosen. Mike and I have been foremen of juries before, which is kind of neat, and we're trying to elaborate on how it is important that all of us serve, but also seniors who happen to go. It gives them something purposeful to do, and looking at this whole system that they may have looked at from afar. So when you've been at Summerhill, you're now at Oakmont. Did any of the seniors ever go to jury duty from that you can recollect?
Actually, I know seniors got jury summons and then would come to me and say, how do I get out of it? I don't want to go. So I don't think any of them really went. But I think a lot, it was transportation, it was
or medical problems,
medical issues.
How'd you like to, excuse yourself from the jury every 2 hours because you have to go to the bathroom?
You're right.
That's a problem.
Yeah. Or just sitting for a long time. So.
Yeah. But, one of the things we should bring up with the people at Oakmont would be serve, because it's worthy, but we can get them to not have to go down to the valley, but go to our local courthouse and just see how everything functions.
Yeah.
And that'd be great. So Oakmont is opening.
Oh my goodness, Dr. Dorio, it is happening. We take our first residents on Monday morning.
Okay.
And we have our grand opening this Saturday from 11 to 2. So we'll have tours and music. So if anybody wants to come by, we'd love to show them. It's all coming together.
And for those who don't know, this is on Newhall Ranch Road toward the west side, heading toward the 5 freeway. But assisted living, some people don't understand the differences between, they know what living at home is like, but going to a board and care, a nursing home, or assisted living, they have no concept or idea of what this means.
Right. And I look at it as the best of both worlds. So seniors 60 and over can make the choice to move in. Oakmont is kind of a boutique-y luxury lifestyle. Like all assisted livings, we offer those services. You don't have to be needing assistance to move into Oakmont. You can just be choosing to move in and not want to have to do laundry, not want to have to keep a house up or maintain that home. We have an executive chef who's preparing the most fabulous food. I'm sure I've gained 10 pounds in the last month while we've been taste testing these amazing recipes, and the wood-burning pizza oven and the rotisserie chicken. And
oh, wow.
It's just amazing. I keep saying there is nothing like Oakmont out in Santa Clarita, and I say it again, there is nothing like it with.
But look at the other side of the coin. People are living at home, and they've had their families. They might have a 3 or 4 bedroom upstairs, downstairs home, and for the ride, it's been fun. But at some point, it gets harder to maintain, to keep the place clean, to dust it all off, and to coordinate things if guests are coming over, to get up the stairs and down the stairs.
Right.
These are things that, you start to face and say, why do we have 4 bedrooms?
When we only use 2.
Yeah, or even 1. Why are we doing this now?
Right.
And why do we have to worry about the lawn and cutting back on the water because of the drought and all these other things that go on?
Right.
Why not downsize? So it's kind of a key thing for people to realize and say, oh, gee, maybe I better think about this a little bit and look at other options of life. And Oakmont is one of those options for them.
Definitely. And I think many seniors in their mind, they're picturing skilled nursing,
like a nursing home.
Like a nursing home, a rehab, that truly assisted living, it's a new concept in the sense, yes, it's been around for years, but I still think that some seniors, and I think some physicians still aren't fully understanding what is assisted living. How does it differ from a skilled nursing? When is it a good choice? I think being able to educate that assisted living is not skilled nursing. We don't claim to be. We don't offer skilled nursing care. Oakmont does have a nurse on staff, and we have, as we've talked before, that diabetic wellness program. But you don't have to wait till you need care to move into an assisted living. As you said, a home can be too much to handle. You might choose not to want to manage that home. I look at sometimes couples that have been married a long time and maybe a spouse passes and the other spouse doesn't want to stay in the home alone. Maybe there's a fear of being alone. Maybe it's a couple where one spouse is not doing as well physically or cognitively. So this is a way for that spouse to get support, still, be able to participate and be active, knowing that, that their husband or wife is being taken care of. So there's so many options for why a person would make a move to Oakmont.
Some of the residents and the people who are listening now say, well, I have a home where I have purpose. I can cook here. That gives me something to do. I can have my garden and maintain that. I have a garage where I can putz around it. Now, out of those three, you have at least two of those three.
We do. We have resident gardens, and they're actually on raised tables so that someone doesn't have to get down on the ground, but you can still garden. And we've already started that garden. There's fresh herbs and vegetables already planted. So when our residents move in, they can actually start with something and then add to it. We're pet friendly. You can bring your dog. You can have a cat. You can still have that purpose of maintaining that. If you want to putz around and go into the activity room, you can putz around all you want. It's your home. So we have that. And actually our 1-bedroom and our 2-bedroom apartment homes have kitchens in them. So if you wanted to cook, you have that option.
The only thing you don't have is that garage.
We don't have a garage.
In
You're
my
right.
neighborhood,
we have carports.
And that's cool.
Yeah, we
I
have
just kind of
carports.
wonder whether you should build a garage for the guys.
We should make a man cave.
My neighborhood, the garage doors are open.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their tools in there and organized and, going out and fixing sprinklers on the lawns and playing around with their cars and stuff like that.
It's something to think about.
Something to think about, and
Absolutely.
a detached garage where, like their man cave,
cave.
They can be there and still have purpose.
Absolutely.
Maybe invent the new wheel or something.
That's a good thought.
So that recognition of trying to figure out the difference between skilled nursing which is a nursing home,
right,
versus taking just a step from where you are now and moving that one step down for assisted living, assisted care,
right,
makes a difference. And people have to understand that. We're not going from living in your home to a nursing home.
Absolutely.
Which, is, to most of my patients, an abomination. They won't do that.
Right.
And they're trying to find the steps going down, not going down to the bottom and trying to work their way back up.
Right. And when I look at that continuum of care, there's independent living, which would be having your own home or living in an active 55 community, like a Belcar or a Friendly Valley or some of these senior apartments out here. But you're completely independent. If you fall, it's up to you to call the paramedics. If you can't get out to the market to get food, you better find a friend or a family member that's going to get you food. You are 100% on your own for socialization and for managing your well-being.
So you can still live alone and independent and not even have to go out and meet people, or you can be a part of the new community that's going to be there.
Right. So if you choose, there's that level of independent, and then the next step would be assisted living. So you can still be independent, but you take away that maybe that fear or that requirement of being just on your own. You have you have someone else to depend on. There's staff there. There's resources. There's socialization. So you have the choice of what you want to participate in and what you don't want to.
Let's direct our conversation at caregivers, maybe the spouses or the kids of some of our seniors who are facing problems but not knowing how to handle those problems, because now they become responsible for transporting them to their doctor's appointment. Now they become responsible for making sure that their medicines are correctly given. There's a whole bunch of things of sources of difficulty with the caregivers that are relieved by going to assisted living.
Absolutely. I bond very well with adult daughters, children that have parents, and being a daughter, I understand, I'm very lucky. I have a very healthy and active mom right now, but that can change. But I know what adult children are going through. I hear the stories of, I work full time, I have children, I have a husband, and yet I'm running to the market to make sure that my mom has food. I'm taking her to the doctor, and her doctor's in the valley, so that's a whole day. I'm managing medications. I'm making sure that the medicine box is filled up. I might have to take her to get her hair and her nails done. All those things that are important to my mom, but yet she's not driving anymore, or maybe she shouldn't be driving anymore. Maybe she got sick and she's just under the weather, and I'm worried about her. So there's a lot of stress on adult children that an assisted living can alleviate. I see it with couples,
all the time. And what happens is the caregiver is the one that ends up getting sick. The spouse that's been handling everything, and then all of a sudden roles are changed, and maybe especially like with dementia or Alzheimer's, maybe the spouse has been covering to the children, and they don't even know. It happens all the time. And then all of a sudden dad's in the hospital with pneumonia, and mom can't function. Well, how did that happen? Well, dad wasn't sharing. So then the children feel guilty. How did I not know? But dad wasn't sharing, and I'm busy with my life. So those conversations we have to have with our parents of what is really going on. And so many times parents want to protect their kids, or there's a pride, I don't want you to know, this is private. Or the word they always use, I don't want to be a burden to you.
I don't want to be a burden.
They always say that. But, a lot of the caregivers, a lot of the kids now, they're in the revolution. They know that of electronics and everything. So I have patients whose kids have put cameras in their homes, and because the parents won't move, they don't want, but by being in assisted living, you have the extra set of eyes on your loved one, and being able to assure that there's something wrong. Now you're worried, or you get a phone call, was it them? But you can just call someone at Oakmont and say, hey, is my mom okay? I just have this sense, this feeling, this phone call that maybe there's a problem. That extra set of eyes, brings a little bit of comfort to you, so that you're not going wild and thinking some bad thing has gone on with them. Because constantly, there's no doubt, I see the caregiving kids always worrying about their loved ones, and that can be alleviated by being at a facility in assisted living.
Absolutely it can. And I think it also gives that relationship a chance to kind of reboot, and the daughter can become a daughter. A husband can become a husband, and they're not always in that caregiving role.
And how difficult, that's really hard. I worry, one of the things that I knew 25, 30 years ago when I started practicing 34 years ago, but I recognized in our seniors, one of the most devastating things that happens to individuals is that they lose their driver's license, because then they lose their independence. And, we know now that you can still maintain that. You got to maybe hop on a bus or take a taxi, get vouchers and things like that. You can still do it. But, when you have access for a bus or to be able to take you to the mall or to your doctor's appointments, makes it a little bit easier, takes the edge off.
Absolutely. And we just got our Cadillac and our bus, and we're ready to go.
Yeah, I'm hoping that one day you and I will be a part of the autonomous car, the computer-driven car, because I am hopeful that will be a piece of what occurs for all of us here in Santa Clarita. And the states are licensing now autonomous cars, but here in California, it seems that the California legislatures, they want to make it so that you have to have a driver's license to sit behind the wheel of an
automated car.
Yeah, and other states are not doing that. But what it removes is our ability of seniors who now haven't driven in 10, 20 years and have no driver's license to be able to use the technology that is out there for us. And, once again, losing that ability to drive is so psychologically detrimental to their lifestyle and to their comfort of life. So now you and I have known each other for over 2 decades. First at Henry Mayo, and then in Summerhill, and now moving forward with Oakmont. But you have kind of to a certain degree used your knowledge but retooled in other areas to understand what our senior patients have to go through. So you're really keen on the sense and sensibilities of what it is like to age. Having a mother also who's doing well, also adds to that. So complementing your whole background makes it a little bit easier for you to look at this new facility and say, this is what we need. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to make them and allow them to move forward when they can still do that, as opposed to saying, you're going to a nursing home and you're done.
Right.
I don't think that's ever been in your attitude,
Never.
Margie, at
and,
all.
And I think there is a time when a nursing home is appropriate after somebody's been sick. I get that call. They want to send her to rehab, or they want to send my mom to skilled nursing, and I don't want her to go. But sometimes that's the right place, go and get your therapy, get your strength, get stronger, and then come home. Yeah. It's an interim. It's not a place. Are they always the best, beautiful places? No. But there is a time and a need for it. And I fully support that with the goal of coming home, whether it's to your own home, whether it's coming to Oakmont. There is a time and a place for skilled nursing.
So let me pick a sore that I've always had, and Barbara has had the same sore about the transitional care unit, because you and I and all of us said that it was a great loss when our hospital closed the TCU because that was the stepping stone that allowed our senior patients to go home. Now, instead, they're shoveling them out of the hospital and putting them in places that are not that great. I mean, they do what they're supposed to do, but the surroundings are not that great. The skilled nursing facilities try real hard.
Absolutely.
But the circumstances of how the payment system is, from Medi-Cal to Medicare to all of it, is just off base. And it's a dishonor, I think, that what we have done, not just closing the TCU, but how we treat our elder seniors. Right. Oakmont Senior Living, though, treats them with dignity. And that's the most important part of this.
Absolutely. That everybody has a story. Everybody deserves that dignity and that choice to be as independent as possible in a safe, caring, warm environment. It's their home, and we are there to serve them.
We're talking with Margie Weiss from Oakmont Senior Living, and we're going to take a break. But when we come back, let's talk a little bit about more of that dignity level of what our seniors are looking for. But maybe not achieving it where they are now, but where they could achieve it in the future. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We're talking with Margie Weiss from Oakmont Senior Living. And, one of the things that our seniors evolve in life is their dignity, and we want to maintain that, and their living situation is key key, and how we support them in their efforts is really important. And we do it at the senior center. We work toward those efforts at the hospital. Everyone in our community has surrounded seniors and said, we're going to help you out. This facility, Oakmont Senior Living, will provide another piece
Absolutely.
that will help our seniors get that dignity.
Right. And it's that dignity is given in so many ways, from having a beautiful apartment home that you can be proud of and want to share with your family and have your friends to being called, Mr. Smith or Mrs. Smith, if that's what you wish. We train our staff. It's not honey and sweetie, and they may say, "Oh, call me Margie,
Gramps."
Yeah,
I think I'll be throwing things at people when they say, "Hey, Gramps."
It's if that's what you want me to call you,
Yeah.
I'll call you it. But
I'll put a sign on my forehead. Don't call me Gramps.
Don't call me Gramps. But
because I'll be Grumps then.
It's a simple level of respect.
It is.
So that, and just finding out. We spend a lot of time trying to find out about a person before they move in, so that we know their likes, we know their dislikes. Were they a veteran? Where did they grow up? What was their background? So that we know, so that we're not taking, for example, someone that was an engineer and is very structured and
personality
loves to read and maybe isn't social, and be dragging them, come to bingo, because that might not be what's important to them. They might want to go to the educational series. They might want to do an educational series. Right.
Count cards.
So it's taking the time to get to know our residents. What is important to them, not what's important to us, but what's important to them, and letting us meet those needs.
Yeah, and that's the problem across the board with all of us, because in practicing medicine, dignity is there too, and I know all of that about my patients, and I just think that that's how I was taught to practice. Right. But that's not there anymore. I still know where people were born, what their maiden name was, if they got married, what their parents did, what they did for a living, and what their goals are, their hobbies are, and all of that, what their strengths and their weaknesses are.
Right.
And for you to know that says to me you're going to give better care to them.
Right.
Because it will open up doors that will allow them to say, bingo's out, but I will go to this series of scientific education that,
Absolutely.
Especially since it's in New York and you're going to fly me there. Your Cadillac will drive you there. Yeah.
And it's taking the time, it's taking the time, not rushing. How we help and assist our residents, that helps with dignity. We have doorbells. You're going to ring the doorbell. You're going to wait for someone to say, come in, if you're going to ring it again, but this is their home. This is all about them, and again, we are there to serve them. Will
the doorbells be made so that you can put any special songs on?
That's on their cell phones.
Is that I know, but the technology? No, I go to places, people's homes now where I ring their doorbell and they have their favorite song, and I go, funny. Isn't it wild?
That is. This is a ding dong.
Literally,
this is a ding dong.
A ding dong world now that we can change the ding dong.
Yeah.
I think for the better. Well, I think that what you're doing, like I said, is adding to the community. It's adding to the dignity of the people here. It's giving them an option, right, Margie, that they didn't have before. And
absolutely,
they need to just look at it. You will have a open house, and you said it's this Saturday,
and then we are open for business.
You're open.
Monday we have our residents moving in, and we're there 7 days a week.
And your phone number is?
661-295-2025. And again, we're on Newhall Ranch Road in between Copper Hill and the 5 freeway.
Congratulations. And
Thank you, Dr. Dorio.
Thank you for doing what you're doing. It's just a great and important part of what's going on here in Santa Clarita.
Thank you.
Of course, being the first show of the year, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to everybody. Margie Weiss from Oakmont Senior Living. We are sponsored by Advanced Audiology in-home care Santa Clarita. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go and enhance your quality of life.